Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, before I begin this lesson, I want to say Call hello, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Racha HaKodash. Double honors go out to the apostles, elders of Great Millstone, who rule and teach well. Shalom, Wa Barakium to you brothers and sisters out there. Alright, this is the brother Malachi from the Great Millstone Nashville camp. And Lord willing, that this lesson is edifying to the hopeful elect. Alright, I just wanted to go into, hypocrisy or hypocrite. It's in transit. Caught in some traffic. Figured I'd go ahead and go up. And, but yeah, I just wanted to, touch on hypocrisy. Because I got this account. I was just listening to some audiobook for 2 Samuel, and this is after, King David had committed, a sin. And basically he was asked a question by Nathan the prophet, and basically the fact that he expressed anger towards the individual, in the story, the hypothetical question, if you will, it was him being a double-minded man, being a hypocrite. All right, now that's not to shame King David for that, because of course he repented for this, and we've all been hypocrites, man. Speaking first and foremost, speaking of myself, I've been a hypocrite before. In the truth, even. You might tell a brother, give him some advice or something, you don't apply it yourself. Brother, you just gotta be patient. The next time you in a little traffic bind, you're yelling, Now that things like that will happen, and it's not to say you can't give brothers advice just because you're working on something yourself, but if you can't be like, hey brother, well, you gotta work on your diet and you eating KFC. Why the fuck you eating that shit? But you gotta apply your words. You gotta, as they say, practice what you preach. But we've all had hypocritical moments. It's part of growing. It's part of and it's part of examining yourself as well. But there's certain case by case situations with that, because you may give a brother advice and you're not personally dealing with that. Or, you get what I'm saying. But you can't be a hypocrite. We can't go out there on the highways and byways and tell Jake, hey, you got to get in order. You got to stop being emotional. You got to put down the pork, all that. But you're doing these things. You got to, like Yahweh Shai said, you got to take the beam out of your eye first before you worry about the mote in somebody else's. But let me go ahead and get this account real quick before this traffic, speeds up, because then I won't be able to read it like that. So, 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 1. And Yahweh sent Nathan unto David, and he came unto him and said unto him, there were 2 men in one city, the one rich and the other poor. The rich man had exceeding many flocks and herds, but the poor man had nothing save one little ewe lamb, which he had bought and nourished up, and it grew up together with him and with his children. It did eat of his own meat and drank of his own cup, and lay in his bosom, and was unto him as a daughter. And there came a traveler unto the rich man, and he spared to take of his own flock and of his own herd, which is also, that's just stingy as hell, because you got all this stuff. Why are you, you know what I'm saying? That's ungrateful as hell. That's inconsiderate. You throwing another man under the bus. Basically offering up somebody else's things for them to sacrifice when you got plenty. There's no point in that, shit, we're moving. It says, and there came a traveler unto the rich man, and he spared to take of his own flock and of his own herd to dress for the wayfaring man that was come unto him, but took the poor man's lamb and dressed it for the man that was come to him. And David's anger was greatly kindled against the man, and he said to Nathan, as Yahweh liveth, the man that had done this thing shall surely die. And he shall restore the lamb fourfold, because he did this thing, and because he had no pity. And Nathan said to David, thou art the man. Okay? Thou art the man. So he gave him this whole parable, if you will, just so he could understand the errors of his ways. Which was very wise. Definitely the spirit of the Lord was on the prophet Nathan. And King David as well, because he had a broken and contrite spirit. He repented. He fasted. His son that he had with Bathsheba she had so like he had gotten sick and he passed away, but King David was fasting, he's praying for mercy. This is a man after the Lord's heart. He's a very sincere, genuine individual, but being in this flesh, we all make mistakes, we all go off, and we can't put King David down for what he committed as if we're not worthy of death ourselves. Like Apostle Paul said, all have fallen short of the glory of God. All right, Romans 3:24, I believe it is. So, we all got to work on ourselves, man. We all got to, us brothers, sisters included, but brothers, we got to work on ourselves. We got to lift up one another, exhort one another. We got to, rebuke and correct one another, But, yeah, let me get this definition of hypocrisy. And it says, the practice of claiming to have moral standards or beliefs to which one's own behavior does not conform. Pretense. And who is the ultimate example of this? Esau, Edom. All right, Esau, Edom is the biggest hypocrite to ever walk the face of the earth. This man and his people will say one thing and put out one image and do the complete opposite behind closed doors. As we're even seeing with this whole Stein files. with the whole Stein files, we're seeing this, man. He's got a suit and tie on. He's claiming to have charities and foundations and give to the homeless people, and you find out he's doing some. What word can even describe it? I mean, like whatever word you want to pull out the hat. Doing these abominable, disgraceful things. But then also these Israelite leaders. All right, these other camp leaders, man, they're fucking hypocrites, bro. Just like the wicked scribes and Pharisees, they always talked about the law, the law, the law. Circumcision being this, being that, do this, da-da-da, perfectness, all this other bullshit. Because nobody is going to be justified by the law. Nobody is perfect. Are you Yahushai? No, you're not. If you took even 2 seconds to answer that question, you're a fucking idiot. You are not Yahushai. Okay? We are following Yahushai. We're trying to be like him to the best of our ability, but we are ultimately not going to attain that goal without divine intervention. And that divine intervention is when the Lord takes us out of these bodies and puts us in new bodies. Gives us that, it must be a bad accident. Gives us a heart of flesh and removes the heart of stone. Oh yeah, that's got to be a bad one up there. Yep. And see, you're just going to see more and more stuff like that because it's judgment, bro. It's judgment. Judgment is going out, and it's only going to increase because a lot of people are hypocrites. Like it says in James 1:8, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Okay? Unstable in all his ways. Lord ain't pleased with no damn hypocrite, man. All right, matter of fact, I'm going to, just as a side note, I'm going to bring out some things that the Lord hates. And yes, the Lord does hate. First of all, he hates Esau, Edom. He hates the Edomites. It's plain upon tables. It's written. It's in there. What more? What do you... We don't need to pull up ancient fossils to prove that. We got the scriptures, man. What the fuck? What is wrong with you people out here? Okay? So bug the fuck out. And that's why the Lord is going to bring judgment upon you. Because you don't want to, like it says Jeremiah, let me get that real quick too. We got more time to pull some scripts, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's take advantage of this. Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 16. It's one of my favorite scriptures. Thus saith Yahweh, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths, where's the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. So if you, look, here's the old paths, here's the traditional way, because some people claim to be traditional as hell and don't even know how to fucking spell the damn word. You don't know what traditional means. You don't know the actual ancient customs of the Bible. Stop pretending you do. Stop pretending that fucking holier than thou spirit. Okay? Because a lot of people, and I'm nobody, man. Don't ever get that twisted. I'm nobody. The man you hear talking right now, I am not anything. But through the Spirit of the Lord, I believe that I'm a man of the Lord, man. Yahweh Ratazah, we continue on this path, continue to do the work, continue to pray, to fast, to do the things necessary. Okay, but a lot of you people, man, you ain't worth two dead flies, as they say. Especially, well, first of all, heathens automatically. especially Esau. Okay, but if you're a Jake and you ain't following the Lord, you're not looking to please the Lord, you're not fulfilling Ecclesiastes 12 and 13, yeah, you're not worth shit, man. Okay? You're not. You're a useless eater. You're just cannon fodder. You're just going to end up taking that fucking chip, which is the mark of the beast. Because you're going to, like Yahushua said, you seek to keep your life and you're going to lose it. But those that lose their life for my sake shall find it. All right, a lot of you people, you're going to try to cleave on to the crumbs that you have of what the elite's left over, which God knows what those crumbs are, especially after this information, which we already knew that they were doing these things, okay? And be careful with that too, because you don't want to dive too far into these different things that they release, and then, your mind just starts to decline. You gotta look. There's a lot of depressing things in the world, man, and we gotta keep our eyes set on what's important, which is Yahushua and the kingdom. Now definitely bring these out. For sure, but I'm saying just be careful. And same with the gore videos. Jake, watch those or whatever. You see the judgment, and before you know it, Jake's mental state is just declining, and Jake's getting depressed. And no, it's not the time for that, man. It's not the time for that. Okay, we leave all this negativity to all these people out here, man. Let these people be negative. Because they got, like it says in Luke 6, right? Woe unto you that laugh now, for you shall mourn and weep. These people are getting ready to fucking cry and break down and have low moments. These people are about to experience these things that us members walking the straight gate have been experiencing for years. And starting with the apostles and elders on down for decades. Apostle Dahar, Apostle Gabar, Apostle Rakab, Apostle Aryamla. Alright, we're talking about fucking 40 years, man, that they've been walking the straight gate, having them low moments, having the negative, depressing thoughts, having to deal with demons, having to deal with catching hell, having to deal with chastisement, having to deal with women problems, having to deal with kid problems, having to deal with all this shit. Okay? Down to the youngest brother. You people are going to understand what suffering is, man. You people are going to understand what it's like to be uncomfortable. Alright, what it's like to not be secure, even within your own mind. You people are getting ready to fucking die. Alright, let's just lay it flat out. Flat the fuck out. Take the sugar off it. You getting ready to fucking die, man. Okay? You, your family, your house, your whole lineage. Getting ready to perish. Because you didn't want to follow after the ways of Yahweh by Shema Shai. How much longer do you think we're going to be out here teaching you numbskulls the same thing over and over and over and over? You're not getting it. So 2nd Ezra 9 and 12 is getting ready to take place. Jacob's trouble is only going to magnify, and a lot of you people are going to fucking die of famine, die of the sword, die of pestilence. All right, the ultimate plague being them nuclear ICBMs. Keep fucking playing around with the Lord, and you're going to find out, man. That's the real FAFO. People swear they some tough, hard-bodied ass motherfucker. You're going to see how much you can fuck around with the Lord and how much you going to find out. Okay? So keep playing these fucking games if you want to, man. Keep playing the games if you want to. It's only going to get you so far. The Lord, his eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. He sees everything you're doing. Everything. From the elite banker families onto the lowest man, woman, child on the earth. He sees and hears everything you are doing. He knows your heart. He knows your intentions. Alright, because a lot of Christians say that, yeah, the Lord knows my heart. Yeah, he knows you're a fucking evil piece of shit. Alright, what is that? Jeremiah 17 and 4? Excuse me. The heart is desperately wicked. Who can know it? Yeah, he knows your intentions. He knows your heart, all right, man. And he ain't fucking with it. And Lord willing, for us that are doing the right thing, that we stay on this path, because this is all we have. Like Peter said in John the 6th chapter, towards the end. Yahushua said, will ye also go away? He said, Lord, where else can we go? You have the words of eternal life. Okay? You have the words. This is all we got, man. Fuck these jobs. Fuck your family, man. Fuck your crib, your car. Fuck your own body. Fuck it all. Okay? Whatever you gotta give up, whatever you gotta lose, whatever you gotta leave behind to cash out on that treasure in heaven that you've been storing up in the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, you need to do that. Do it. Alright, nobody's saying don't take care of your kids. Nobody's saying quit your job. Nobody's saying none of that. But there's going to come a point in time where these things are going to contradict what the Lord requires of you, and you're going to have to make an uncomfortable decision. And that's where that's why we need to be examining ourselves daily, whether we be in the faith. Because Philippians 2:12, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Okay, ain't nobody finna hold your hand. Can't nobody save you, man. We can't save ourselves. We're dependent on Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, man. Alright, so let's stop with the games. Lock in. Do what you gotta do. Continue to fight. Alright, because it ain't gonna get any easier. But you need to get stronger. Your mind needs to get harder, tougher. You know? So Lord, one, that this lesson was edifying. Before I close, I want to say, call hello, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, B'Shem Kodash. Double honors go out to the apostles, Elders, Great Millstone. Shalom.